On
Yes. 6 o'clock, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. First item will be roll call.
Brown.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Turkey.
Here.
Gray.
Here.
Nail.
Here.
Walker.
Here. Say the pledge, please.
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everyone can take a moment of silence if they like. Take a motion to approve the agenda.
Vote.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All of those things. Everyone's had a chance to look over the minutes from the previous meeting. If there are no additions or corrections, they'll stand approved as presented. We have no visitors and there was no comments sent in, so we'll move on to the officers report, CFO report.
Page 4, it starts with sales tax receipts this month. We received $317,141.93, and that is up about $37,000 over last year for the same period. Overall, we are up $123,000 from last year, and it's about 10.73%. Any questions? Okay, page 5 is our budget performance year to date. So this is comparing January to March with the budget of just January to March. So 100% means we're right on budget, over 100% means we're over budget, and below 100 is under budget. So I highlighted the ones that in yellow that are over at this point. Any questions on any of that?
And the professional fees are.
So I'm gonna go through that when we go to the details, but yes, so it's 5 months is what's in there of billing because of our, when we didn't do the last meeting in December, November, didn't get paid until January. And December got paid in January, so it pushed some things from last year to this year, so.
we were under last year.
Yes, yes, so. So the details are pages 6 through 9, and this is in comparison to the annual budget, so we should be about 25% at this point in the year. So again, I highlighted the things that are on target or over budget on the revenue side. So overall, we're at 37% of revenue, so we're over budget so far this year. That's sales tax and service fees.
Janitorial.
So it's not there yet, but janitorial, that includes our annual pest control, so that's why that's up.
Okay,
Because
so
it's
we
got-
prepaid the pest control and.
Yeah, we pay the pest control annually, so.
Thank you.
Mhm. Any other questions? So we're now to page 8. We did the village expense janitorial. IT stuff, there's a lot of things happening with the billing that are in there that are just one-time things, so it's really just a timing thing. Any other questions on the budget one? Page 10 is our balance sheet, previous year comparison. See the change there in our assets and our liabilities. Oh, I did want to point out on the payroll, sorry, I forgot to make a note there. That I guess we'll see it later in the next the next page, the profit and loss previous year comparison. When you look at year over year for employee, last year, at this time, there was only 6 payrolls and we've had 7 so far this year. So again, it's just a timing difference there. So it looks like it's up 20%, but we've got an extra payroll in there, so. Any questions on the profit and loss previous year? Page 12 through 15 is our profit and loss by class, so that's where we break out Pettis County and Windsor. Revenue is all actual. Revenue, all the expenses that can be actual are actual, and then anything else is allocated based on payroll. So these are the same numbers, just split up between the 2 classes. Any questions on any of that? Page 16 is our capital expenses, actually 16 and 17. Our budgeted expenses are in the middle. What we've spent year to date is in the next column, and then the variance is in the last column. So we've just done a few things so far this year: washer and dryer, window tint, the access control systems. I believe they're almost complete now. So we have additional bills coming next time for that. And the laryngoscopes and the stair chairs. That's all we've had so far.
The simulator warranty, that's for that big,
Uh-huh,
you know, it isn't for the CPR simulator, is it?
no. I don't believe they give warranties for
Yeah.
those.
That's a good salesman if he can sell you $1,000. Doesn't matter warranty.
Just a quick question on capital. What's our policy on what's our left part?
5,000 is
5,000?
our capitalization policy. Yeah. Any other questions on that? Page 18 is our bank balances as of the 20th, last month at the same time. Month over month, it's down about 42,000. If you go down year over year, it's up $1,089,000. Sorry, I didn't say that totally wrong. $1,089,641. The cash reserve chart is on page 19. And then the cash reserve analysis is on page 20. And I also just left there what we have budgeted for capital expenses and what we have on order for ambulances. Any questions on that?
Yeah, I've
Sure.
got one that, on the cash reserve, I wondered, do we have, what, if we reach a certain point that we say, okay, that's gonna get us if anything terrible happens? I mean, it seems like it, I mean, it's, you know, it's gone up, it keeps going up and up and up.
Yeah, a lot of that is those ambulances that we have on order. We've got $1 million that we've spent, that's still sitting in our account. So that's part of it.
And
The other part is we've also budgeted for building that new station. That's $845,000. That's sitting in our account. So,
So more or less is sitting there just waiting.
right. It's,
So you take that 2
it's
million
covered.
out, to John's point, we're sitting there, we're at 3 million, and we'll pass that. When we get to 4 or 5, or at what point do we consider rolling the tax rate back and sit on our cushion for a while, because we can always go back to that cent.
I'm not
Well,
suggesting.
I'm just saying, there's gotta be a point where you say, okay, we're running positive here,
Yeah.
but
so when you go to board training, they tell you 6 to 12 months is where you need to have on hand is 6 to 12 months. Our auditor says 12 to 18 months.
that's assuming that everybody stops paying everything and we still have, we don't get a dime from anywhere. that sounds like the end of the world, you wouldn't need anything.
Turns out people would still need ambulances.
And with the economy, the way it is, and I mean, it's crazy, really. It's not a good time to be cutting it back because we don't know what's going to happen next year at this time. But the dollar may be being used for toilet paper. We don't know. I mean, it's just.
Well, plus you have older ambulances and everything, correct? With some.
Yeah, but they're planned out. So
Right.
we replace them, but now we have to order them a couple of years ahead of time
Okay.
to get them because they're parts and stuff. No, I think it's, what we're doing is the correct way to do it.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering what magic number there is, if we have everything paid and it reaches a certain point and everything's hunky-dory with the economy, where is that, do we have a number? Or is it just something that changes constantly?
It's always gonna change because all our expenses change.
Wouldn't a better reflection be a percentage of budget?
Well, 6 to 12 months is a reflection of the budget. Because we take the budget divided by months, and that's where we get our number.
But as opposed to saying so many millions of dollars
Yeah,
surplus, we would
that's why
say
we say
we're,
yeah, months.
we're at 150% of annual budget, or we're at 100% of annual budget.
Because if you say that,
Those are better numbers.
Yeah.
When you start throwing big numbers around, all of a
Yeah.
sudden it draws attention. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, no, I agree with you.
Yeah, and the busier we get, we're gonna have to add ambulances, we're gonna have to add crews, we're gonna have to add stations. Those are all things that still have to happen, so. I don't have a crystal ball, but
And the nice thing about days cash, the way that works is, or months cash in this case, it's based on your expenses. So if your expenses go up, then it's more to operate per day. So I like that gentleman that gave the board training that said you should have a minimum of 6 months and then, but up to a year. And then you can look at it, especially if you guys are the tax, where you're at. But, who knows what it's gonna cost to build out that building. We just got some bids that were double what we thought they were gonna be for construction.
So it's easier to sell. We've got so many months of reserve as it is to say we're sitting on all these millions of dollars. That is,
on 3 months of payroll is $1 million, so.
Yeah.
You gotta, it's just more zeros.
I understand that. I'm just saying that the perception, when you go to those dollar numbers, everybody's eyes glaze over.
And that's what I'm
as opposed
saying.
to where you got 6 months of operating money. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Any other questions on that? Pages 21 through. Questions on any of that?
Write a lot of checks, and we write a lot of checks. What number are we on?
We actually don't write any checks. Those are all deposits for the most part, so. Page 26 is the EMSMC month-end summary. Page 27, I believe, yes, is the summary report there. It shows you the primary payer mix on the left top. Then here's our top payer. In the middle, it shows the net collection percentages for each payer. And then cash per trip is the next one. And then there's a total of of all the billing, gross charges, contractual allowances, net charges, all the way back down to net collections and cash per trip as a whole. Any questions on any
What
of
does
that?
that TPL stand for?
Third party liability, so that's like car insurance.
Jamie, one of the things, I could ask you this offline, but one of the things they talked about in our last conference was Medicare and Medicare Advantage as a mix, as a payer mix.
Mhm.
Their crystal ball was telling them those would flip.
Mhm.
And Medicare Advantage will be our primary payer. Have you seen the convergence of that lately, or?
Yeah, Medicare itself used to be the total of the two, and now it's split. And you can really see it if you look at our Medicaid and our managed Medicaid. Medicaid's only 7% and the managed Medicaid's 18%.
Okay.
But yes, it is. And that is, when people complain, a lot of it is their Medicare Advantage plan.
We compared that sometime this year, this calendar year, if not this calendar year, our fiscal year, which will be a year from May, the Medicare Advantage will pass traditional Medicare. It's been gaining about 10% a year. And as the baby boomers come on and they're healthy, well, I want my free, I get dental for free, my vision's free. And so, until you get to be 70 and then you start having health issues and then deny.
Well, they don't deny, it's just you pay.
Well, you have to do prior auth. Well, for us, it's denied.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just more out of pocket.
And you need to have prior auth, and, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of hoops that have to be jumped through for different things. We don't see it so much with the Medicare Advantage for us right now.
For your emergency, right?
Well, but even with non-emergency, it's the Medicaid Advantage or Medicare Managed Care, I said that wrong,
Right.
that we have to do a little dance and have the right outfit on when we do it.
Yeah. And they're making $20 billion for the profit.
Yeah, I mean, that one really is when we have meetings all the time. I send emails all the time to us.
I didn't mean to open up a wound.
No, and it's not anybody's
Yeah.
fault. It's just the way, well, it is somebody's fault, but it's just the way it works.
Or they delay payment, do they do that for you? You have to send records and da. 'Cause
I don't see that as much. It's just we have to have a prior offer non-emergent. And if you don't, you're not getting.
you're not gonna get paid.
So your complaints are on the co-pays or?
And it's not just Medicare Advantage, but it usually has to do with the co-pays or the deductibles. Because people don't understand why I have insurance, but I still have to pay.
Mine's $25 if I need an ambulance into Medicare Advantage.
I've never seen one come through that way.
Is it a rickshaw?
The lowest I've seen is $260 is the copay rate usually on ambulance for Medicare Advantage, and that's different plans, 260 is usually.
It changes all the time.
Each year, it used to be 250, now it's 260.
Well, a lot of it, from personal experience, I know that a lot of it has to do with services that would not normally be needed, such as like rehabilitation services. That's where they really make some deep cuts into the benefit packages, where if you have regular Medicare, it will pay better than some of the Advantage plans. You might have really cheap X, but Y is gone.
Oh, yeah, I noticed
Prescription.
fire everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't understand it when they're getting it.
And I've seen that with just standard commercial insurance as well. There's a lot more pre-authorizations required.
It's such a stressful situation when I are confronted with that. And it's just, yeah. Anyway, I know Jamie does a pretty good job trying to calm them down.
It's difficult. The general public is not very well educated on how the whole system works. I was in CVS just the other day. There was a lady checking out who just didn't know the difference between any of the really what we do every day and don't think about how complicated it is. There's a lot of room for education when it comes to how insurance works, especially when it comes to federal and state stuff. Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, didn't mean to derail that.
Page 31 is the accounts receivable aging by payer. And then there's just kind of a summary on page 32. And you'll see, if you look at that, the patient portion just continues to increase. 672,000 out of the 1.9 million is just patient responsibilities. So,
Do we bring that over, do we have a bad debt collection agency?
yeah.
Maybe a certain percentage of what they collect.
Mhm. I'd have to look at it again. It's different percentages based on time.
Yeah.
Page 33 is the accounts payable aging summary, and the details are after that. I did want to point out there's a typo on page 34 on that Leon. That is not typos, that is shirts, job shirts. Any questions on any of those bills? Not this.
We accept them. Okay,
Pay the bills, is there a second? Second, yeah. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Unfinished business, credit card limit.
Yeah. Do that, or maybe-
If you don't mind.
For Roy, we're just asking to increase his limit from 500 to 1,000. When he tried to buy, I don't know, boots the other day. His credit card limit, no, he was buying like five different people's things. And his credit card limit is $500, but he had went to, they have capital, so he did not even have $500 to go for spend on those boots. So we would just like to up his limit to 1,000.
I
Is
think
that
that's,
correct?
that would be appropriate with the economy the way it is. So I move that we raise that.
Is there a second? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same sign. So we have no new business. I would take a motion to go into closed session pursuant to RSMO 610.021, sections 1 and 3.
So moved.
We have a second. Second. All in favor, it'll be roll call.
Brown.